Well, blessed to be part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here at Ultra Touch Car Wash in Meridian. Phone number is 580-5436. 580-KIDO. We've got another one of our gift certificates here for $25 worth of free gas and the Ultra Supreme Car Wash. The first person that stops by here, Fairview Avenue, across from Kids Again, you'll win that as well. Also, you'll get a free picture with Tea Party Bob, who is with us as well. Phone number is here, 580-5436. 580, you want to be paid for that, 580-KIDO. But again, we're at Ultra Touch on the campaign trail, talking about a variety of issues. If you have a comment on Senator Nonini joining us, very conservative young man there. Tea Party Bob, your thoughts on the legislature adjourning?
Well, I think they missed the vote not only on the CBD oil, but on the fact that they never addressed the grocery tax. But that's kind of typical of a Butch Otter-run legislature. The unfortunate part is that the people are going to suffer. The people who need the CBD oil are going to suffer. Their children are going to suffer for another year until we get another session. And they're going to have less money to spend, regardless of what the economy is doing. When you have a tax as egregious as a grocery tax, there is nothing to tell me that it's fair and equitable for everyone. It's not. Nobody understands that. It's not much different than when you're talking about a transportation tax for the gas. For years I've been telling everybody we need to fund this through the general fund. No one seems to get it. That's another egregious tax. It hits the lower income people the hardest. You know, until we address these issues and until we get government out of our lives, we're not going to have what we would call a conservative Idaho. And for everybody saying that Butch has been the most conservative governor we've ever had, that's a lot of baloney. This guy has been less conservative than some of the worst governors I've seen in many of the other states. In fact, I kind of wish he'd go to Ohio and take over Kasich's place.
Well, all right, Tea Party Bob, standing by. Remember, we're going to give you that $25 gift certificate and an Ultra Supreme Car Wash. By the way, come on over here, young man. You're going to have to come on. Your name, sir?
It's Rod Grant.
All right, nice to meet you, sir. Sorry for the cold hands. That's Tea Party Bob. I'm Kevin Miller.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I've met you guys a couple times before.
All right, here you go.
Well, thanks.
We appreciate that. Anything you'd like to share with us? We wanted to thank you for listening.
I listen every day. It's good to see the conservatism here. I came here about 10 years ago from the communist state of Oregon, so this is quite refreshing.
Well, we appreciate you.
It's really refreshing.
Anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, no, I just appreciate what you guys do. I just want to meet liberal Steve someday, or maybe Ronnie.
Okay. We'll see if we can make that happen.
All right, man.
Thank you for listening.
Hey, thank you for what you do, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day. Let's go to Tom Kelly, President and CEO of ID Experts. Tom, good to have you with us.
Good morning, Kevin.
So we take a look at what's going on with Facebook. Are we surprised that they're selling our data and doing all sorts of things with it?
Well, clearly there's many people are surprised, but it's certainly no surprise to those of us who have known these systems. I mean, we exchange data for this great convenience of connecting with people, friends, creating pages, and being able to surf the web. We exchange data every time we go in and do Google searches. Every time you talk to Alexa, you're a new best friend for millions of Americans. And so these data devices are being used to market products and products, services, and people. As we turn out, clearly in both the Trump and Obama campaigns, they were utilized to target political information to you. And that's the data that we quote freely put on these systems, but quite frankly, that lack the transparency to let us know exactly how that data is going to be used.
Well, let's move to Alexa, because we hear so much about, oh, Alexa do this, oh, Alexa do that, oh, Alexa's the best. I mean, what is Alexa doing, and how dangerous is this Alexa?
Well, it's I know people who think it's just terrific, the convenience it has that Alexa, call Kevin, call Kevin for me. Alexa, get me the information. Alexa, what's on my calendar today? You know, Alexa, where can I go to get the best this or the best that? Alexa, connect me to shop here. And all that data is just a tracking of, you know, your preferences, your desires, whether or not you like to buy this kind of product or that kind of product, where you go to shop, what your calendar looks like. And, of course, that becomes metadata, large pools of data that people can, in fact, utilize to access to, in fact, target ads to you. And in particular, in this case, you know, Amazon would probably use this as information to sell you goods and services. And there's the convenience of Alexa, but people need to understand that that data is being collected for a reason. And that reason is to market services to you.
Tom, are we hypocrites when we say, I demand a right for privacy, yet we'll fill out a Facebook survey, or we've become the look at me society, whether, hey, I'm doing this on Facebook, I'm doing that. Now, we use it to promote our platform here, but you have a lot of people that, you know, they've become their own media outlets when they go on vacation or when they're walking the dog or even what they're eating. I don't know how I lived without knowing what, you know, somebody's having for dinner.
You know, there's a lot of truth to this, and these apps give us a lot of different platforms to tell the world and our friends, a lot of things that we're doing, which we think our friends may want to know, and we'd like to share with them. But it's also telling a much broader group of people. As we found out in this Cambridge Analytica, is not only did that survey, when I answered, and by the way, the Obama app survey was very similar, very, very similar. The differences were, in my opinion, negligible. But you opted in, you put these apps on there, you answered a survey, and yes, you said that you could get information and access. You're thinking it's about you, but nobody thought about the fact that you were turning over all your friends and exposing all your friends to this information. So, you know, I don't know if it's a hypocrisy, but it's certainly a lack of understanding of what these platforms do. You know, Kevin, you and I and all of us tell our children to be careful about what we put on social media. We tell them that all the time, that it follows them when they apply for jobs, when they go to college. And this might be some advice that we ought to be applying to ourselves, that what we need to do is be very cautious about what we do on social media.
Tom Kelly joining us, President, CEO of ID Experts. Kevin Miller in the morning from UltraTouch here in Meridian, Idaho, the home of the non-ethanol fuel. And if you're driving by, give us a honk, and give a double honk for Tea Party Bob, who joins us as well, monitoring the quality of the broadcast. So, Tom, let's get back to what do these, how do these algorithms work? Are these guys in some basement somewhere or working with bots and sock puppets? I'm hearing to try and figure out how to manipulate us.
No, the algorithms are pretty. I mean, certainly they're complex, but they're as simple as this. They want to. The algorithms are products that are used to extract as much data as possible from what we like, what we say, and what our friends say, how our friends react with us on Facebook, what we do. All this information that tries to determine we're more likely to buy this or not buy this. We're more likely to vote this way or not vote this way. We're more likely to actually go out and vote. I mean, these are the algorithms that come down to trying to come up with what our personalities look like, what our behaviors look like. But there's two things, in my opinion, Kevin, that really are highlighted on this. Is that A, be careful of what you're doing out there, and this also highlights, more importantly, the things we ought to be doing to protect our identity. There's all kinds of hygiene things. You know, changing your password, being careful about what you click on in, when people send you emails, phishing, don't open up web pages. You don't know exactly where you're going. There's a whole list of things there that have come to a point that we need to be very conscious about protecting our identities. So the Facebook event, Equifax, Alteryx, all these various ways that our trust has been broken highlight the fact that we need to be more careful.
Tom, we appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about some of this new technology that we're dealing with, back to the voice-activated stuff. Are we depending too much on technology? Look at these self-driving cars. I mean, what's wrong with, I know this is antiquated, but not even using a remote control, changing the channel yourself, and we all become entitled jelly beans.
No question about it. But but lumping it all into one basket, we're going to have to be careful because some of this technology, the same technology we're talking about, automating things like that, are also saving lives in the operating rooms and areas like that. But the fact that we sit in our chairs and don't get up, the fact that we'll take an elevator one floor or two floors instead of using stairs. I mean, all kinds of people will tell you, we need to pay attention to our health. But self-driving cars, using them, for example, there's an awful lot of evidence that say that the technologies there will be able to avoid more accidents. Yeah, there are certainly going to be accidents, but that people's lives will likely be saved as a result of these things over time. Now, what that looks like and how we get there, I think it's going to be you and I are going to get a chance to watch that process. But in terms of data and privacy, we need to be very conscious of the fact of what we decide we want to tell the world and these platforms, who our friends are, and how intimate we want to be in the information we share.
Now, Tom, you've got a Silicon Valley background. How different is that world compared to, let's say, the Treasure Valley here in Idaho? Is it just like Willy Wonka? What's it like there when you're driving down the street and there's Google's world headquarters, there's Facebook? What's the vibe like compared to the heartland of America?
Well, I travel a lot, and I've been to the Blue football field, and so I've spent time in your city. So trust me, and there is a difference in the vibe here. The fact is, this is a center of technology. There's been a center of change. Some people will say many will say it's tremendously exciting to see that change. Others will say that they feel that there's a tide that moves them along too quickly. I mean, you'll get a lot of different opinions on that. But this technology revolution that occurs, heavily centered here, you have an awful lot of your listeners that are using those Alexa devices right there in quiet Boise, quiet Idaho. They're also surfing the internet there. They're also buying on Amazon. They're looking on Google. They've got Facebook pages and Facebook friends. So it might be a quieter lifestyle, but the technology is sitting right in your backyard as well. You know that.
Yeah, one more thing. I know you guys are out of Portland, but a lot of businesses are moving to Idaho, so we'd love for you to move to Idaho, number one. Number two, when's Skynet going to take over?
That's a good question. But can I make one recommendation for your listeners? And I think this is not a bad one. We hear about these identity protection plans that are available, and I do believe they're very much like health insurance. They're cheap. Health insurance is not cheap, but these identity protection plans are not expensive, and they give you a little peace of mind that if somebody was to hack and get kinds of personal information about you, Social Security, driver's license, information that could be used to defraud you, it really does help allow you to sleep better at night. And the other side you can do is just be careful about what you're doing and what you're searching, what you're looking for, the information you put on Facebook. Be careful about that stuff. Think twice before you do it.
Tom Kelly, we appreciate you. We'd love to have you back, sir.
Okay, well, I'll be happy to come back, and I love your city. It's a city. It's a great place.
Well, we have a lot of people from the West moving here, so come on in.
Well, can I make a quick plug on something for myself?
Well, I don't know, Tom.
Well, it's
I don't know if we ever do plugs. Tom, I'm just kidding. Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, it's my. If your listeners want to find out about some identity protection products, we do offer them. We're the largest breach response company in the country, responding to breaches, and our product is MYIDCARE, myidcare.com, and they can find it. You can use that for your own personal protection.
Tom, take care. See ya.
Okay, have a great day, Kevin. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. You're listening to Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. And hello to our boy Mike Miniger, Miniger's Auto Body, and Terry. We'll get to you in 2 seconds. Before that, Les Ann joins us now, manager of Ultra Touch here in Meridian. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great place you have here. I've been coming here for 9 years. I love the non-ethanol fuel here.
It is amazing. And the gas prices, yes, they're going up, but we also have it to where you guys, it's affordable, and your engines are going to be clean and non-breaking with all of your small engines too.
Well, it makes such a difference to use the non-ethanol fuel, whether it's on a big truck like we see all the time, or people bringing in their lawnmowers or their snowmobiles here.
Yes, and I use it with my snowmobiles all the time, and it makes a huge difference not having that ethanol in there.
Sure, of course, we've got the car wash. Let's talk a little bit about that. Very different from others when we're talking quality here in the Treasure Valley.
And that's what we focus on, is the quality. We are a full-service car wash. There's not very many left of this. So, you come in, we do everything for you, and it's amazing.
Those kids work.
Hard.
They do.
In the snow, in the rain, in the sleet, in the hail, cold and hot, we're open all the time.
I would say that. Well, thank you for having us. Anything else you'd like to share with us here today?
No, and I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
Well, we love it. And, of course, Tuesdays and Thursdays, the gas is pumped for you here.
That is correct.
All
From
right.
9 a.m. until 6 p.m.
All right. Well, please go back in and warm up. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Let's go to Terry in Boise with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning. Your biggest fan here.
Well, it's been a while. How you been?
Sneaking by with this fighting the cancer and trying to get mental energy and physical energy, which has been not very hard. It wasn't for my wife.
You're in my prayers every night. Sorry to interrupt. You really are, Terry. So
I really appreciate that. And your buddy there, I'm a great fan of that Bob Neugebauer. I just can't see why that it was such a rush to get out of town and nobody addressed this grocery tax issue and the CBD oil for these people on seizures and cancer. And Bob's health channel, listen to him. It's been a real encouragement, too. What he went through with his wife was horrible. He's a good man and a good supporter of you, and he's a very, very bright. It's too bad he wouldn't run for a political station. You, I think, where you're at is good to make people aware of everything, because if you get off the air and run for politics, we in the community won't be as advised and prepared for things. And one of the issues that I think that we've got to really address, or actually 2, 3, the grocery tax, besides the CBD oil, and the hardening the grid. And this, we can start in this state alone. Other states are talking about doing it alone, but if we don't get the hardening of the grid, that book came out on George Norrie, had them as guests 1 day after, 1 year after, and 95% of the public will be dead. We've got to harden that electrical grid. It's too vulnerable, and the end results are too disastrous to be ignored. And that CBD oil, I just don't know why they wanted to get out of town, not address this grocery tax. And with all the prodding that we got from you and the education on the grocery tax, I was surprised more people didn't pick up the torch and fight for that.
Well, Terry, this is the last of the governor's influence, and there'll be a new governor, a new legislature, and I think that will happen. It's unfortunate, and I think there will be some ramifications within this gubernatorial campaign that grocery tax was not repealed this session.
Oh, good. For lieutenant governor, I'm kind of torn with the gentleman you got on, and that McGee lady. She seems to be very strong on local issues. And she.
Well, and maybe we'll get her back on. How we work this is, people reach out to us and we put them on. It's not really that scientific. It's kind of like you. You called in and we put you on.
True. Well, I really appreciate being able to get in touch with you because, I lay here and listen to you when I can't sleep with these issues. But I appreciate you putting me on your prayer list at night.
You are.
It's amazing. You're a very, very, very good man and come from a very good family. I was really impressed meeting your mom and dad. That was a real pleasure.
Well, God bless you, my friend. You take care, Terry.
Okay, and tell Bob keep up the good work. I'll be in touch with him about some other issues.
I will.
You have a great day and a great life, Kevin.
God bless you, my friend. Love you.
God bless you.
Take care. All right, our great friend Terry. Let's get to traffic. And let's find out what's happening in your world at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Doug. KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning, live from Ultra Touch Car Wash in Meridian. Joining us now is Brigadier General Farron Schwartz, the commander of the Idaho Army National Guard. That promotion will be today. General Schwartz, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you having me.
Well, I hope I didn't spill the beans, sir.
No, that's, like I said, we put it out there to all the soldiers and airmen of the Idaho National Guard to share in this exciting day for me, but really a part of everything that they've done to support and develop me as a leader and hopefully to be able to lead them in an acceptable manner for them.
When you take a look at being the commander of the Idaho Army National Guard, sure, that's a title, but General, a lot of us don't know what that entails. How much work is involved with that? And obviously, as you've just said, you're all about the men and women of the service and their families.
Yeah, it's a pretty vast encompassing position here. Like I say, we of course the nationally renowned 116th Cavalry Brigade Combat Team is headquartered here in Idaho and consists of about 4,200 soldiers spread across Idaho, Montana, Oregon, and Nevada. Now we've got an exceptionally great aviation group that maintains itself as an exceptionally good deployment asset, as well as has capabilities to react to our state and local requirements. We've focused on developing and expanding our Orchard Combat Training Center out south of Boise here. That is really the most capable training range in the nation, and with a pretty extensive investment strategy that the Director of Army National Guard is putting into it that will make it the premier National Guard armor training site in the nation, as well as a very capable regional training institute that is one of the nation's best, and a civil support team that a lot of people aren't aware that to protect us locally here against a lot of the threats that provide a great asset to our local and state and national agencies.
General Schwartz, I had the privilege of getting to know both the aviation unit when the Apaches were here and the cavalry, and seeing you all and covering you all when you were deployed. But a lot of folks may not understand. A lot of those folks cycled out just because of retirements. Such an incredible experience serving Idaho, serving the country, and recycling people, putting people in, getting new members in. How is that? The idea of those folks that have been out of country, serving, retiring, and those folks that are coming into the unit. How do you handle that change? And is there any turnover with those folks that have served?
There is. There's still a significant amount of soldiers and officers enlisted that have served on deployments. The brigade deployed in 2004, 2005, and again in 2010-11. The aviation battalion deployed in 2006. And so the thing about the Idaho Army National Guard or National Guard itself is that the turnover. We have soldiers that will maintain. For instance, myself, I've served for 33 years, all in the Idaho Army National Guard, and we carry that wealth of experience forward through these combat deployments into the operations and training that we conduct as our day-to-day operations. And so we do have turnover, and we have a lot of the combat veterans that we've had, in the Idaho Army National Guard have retired and moved on. They still we still consider them part of our family and still provide influence back on our Guard family, if you will. But I think if you look across our formations, we have an influx of new soldiers, but we still have a good, strong population of combat veterans that can pass off that knowledge that was attained through those overseas deployments to these new soldiers that are coming on. And it's a cycle of the Guard, but we just don't have that amount of turnover that you might see in an active duty unit.
Certainly such a family that you all have, people that have grown up together, people that have moved to Idaho. And with respect to the active duty, and it really took me an education of being embedded with y'all and a couple other Guard units. The Guard and the Reserves, very special because you have people that stay within the community. And as you've said, you have active duty folks that, do their time for 4 or 5 years and go on to their next duty station. Can you explain that here at KIDO Talk Radio?
Yes, Kevin. I mean, we have that's one thing that's just unique to the Idaho to the National Guard is that we're in every community throughout the state. I mean, from Bonners Ferry to Preston, Idaho. I mean, we represent what is the military for the Idaho for Idaho, and we've represented ourselves quite well through the deployments and through times of floods, fires, and local emergencies. We stand ready with a dual mission of serving, our commander-in-chief for the state, which, Governor Otter, as well as we're prepared to do our federal mission, which is, to defend this nation against anyone that chooses to do ill against it. So, and it's, as I like to circulate throughout the state in any position that I've had and engage those local and leaders in the community out there, and I can tell you, Idaho has the most supportive group of local administrators through the high schools and through the local governments. It's very, very humbling to see how well that the National Guard is received and supported throughout our state.
Well, General, congratulations, and congratulations to all the folks in the Guard and Reserve and their families. We sure are happy to have you all having our backs, not only when we're talking about something internationally, but domestically, and to be able to call on you all in the state and the businesses and employers that support the Guard. We want to thank them, but we sure appreciate it, and congratulations, sir.
Well, thanks, Kevin. And I appreciate all the support you've given us throughout the years. And, and 580 KIDO has just always been there to get the word of the Guard out there. And we sure appreciate your support and everything that you do for us.
Well, sir, I've got to make up for that. I was a lousy troop. I was so lousy.
Well, there's still time. We come back out. And we'll put you back to work.
Please square me away. Please square me away. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Our great friend, General Schwartz, joining us here at Ultra Touch. We've got a special mystery guest here. Special mystery guest, come on over here at KIDO Talk Radio. This is the magic of Meridian. You never know who's going to swing by. Our great friend, Russ Fulcher, joining us. How are you?
Kevin, good morning. I'm just a little bit chilly, but it's going to be a lot nicer here soon.
This is what I love about you. You've got the Kevin Miller attire. Of course, I've got a lot more insulation than you, the shorts and the long sleeves. We talk about Meridian, your hometown. You've been here for years. Your family has been in Idaho for years. You're in commercial real estate when you're not running for Congress. What do you make of the growth that's happened here just in your lifetime?
It's been fabulous. I did a town hall here when we kicked things off a while back, and I did some research. In the year I was born, which was 1962, there was 2,100 people here. And now it's eclipsed 100,000, and that's just in my lifetime. And so this place has changed a lot. A lot of it has to do just with the geographic location. It's in a really good location from a commerce standpoint around the state. But the other thing, too, is it's just a good place. There's good people here, and there's some open space still, and just high quality of life.
Well, and you don't have to pay for parking.
Right, and there are very few parking meters, and that's a big deal to me.
It is. We take a look at not only the growth of Meridian, the Treasure Valley, What do you make of it all? You've dealt with people with your days at Micron, with your days with commercial real estate, and working in state government. What do you make of the secret of Idaho being revealed?
Well, there is maybe just a mixture of a blessing and a curse there. The blessing is we've got some economic growth, and there tends to be some prosperity that comes with that. The curse is that we're having to fight to keep our culture. We're having to fight to keep our lifestyle. That sleepy little town of Meridian, where I grew up, literally on a small dairy farm, milking cows, and the value system that comes with that is challenged now by a lot of influx of people who've never even seen that lifestyle. And so it's still really good, but it's a challenge in just trying to keep the culture and the family value structure that we hold so dear.
Indeed. So what's it like being in the real world and then being in the political world? I have a guy that I covered many years ago. His name's Maury Taylor, president of Titan Steel, and he just ran for president, turned the world upside down. But he said to me, hey, Kev, I'm going back to the real world as opposed to the political world. So as someone who has lived in both for many years, what's it like living in the political world and then meeting a payroll? Very different world sometimes.
Whole different world. And, I get questions a lot. Hey, what do you feel like you're going back to the wolves? I have to take a different attitude to that. I have to be the wolf. And so what I hope to do, and when you get really grounded in who you are and what you stand for, you can influence others. And so that's part of the approach that I'm taking to this whole thing. And that's just not to be influenced by where I go in that political world. Is a different world. I don't want to participate with that. I don't want to become that. I want to influence that. And so that mindset, I think, will help a lot. To your point about signing the front side of a paycheck versus distributing taxpayer money for spending, once again, it's an attitude, and I want to take that mindset of the employer, that mindset of the responsible person, the provider, and try to infuse that into the structure of Congress so that hopefully I can put some sanity into how they spend their money and realizing that, look, this really is someone else's money that I've been a steward of.
Indeed. We'll have you on next week at the Broadcast Center, but how's life on the trail?
It's really good. This is coming up on first weekend home in a long time. Going to spend Easter at home, but it's kind of like being in the gym. I may have said this to you at some point in time in the past, Kevin, but if you ever were involved with athletics or whatever, you got to go to the gym. You got to pump the iron. You got to get the exercise, and it's not always pleasant, but you get stronger. And in this case, with campaigns, there are some parts of it, the travel and just the grind that is a struggle, but you get stronger and you get better and you get smarter and you meet more people and you learn more. So it's a blessing, and I'm thankful for it.
Finally, the people that know you, that are supporting you, or the people that have moved in here and that don't know you, what would you say to them to win their vote?
Oh, give me a chance. Give me a chance to meet you. Rarely do I have an opportunity to interact with people where we can't have some kind of a relationship. I can't really think of times when there's been an interaction live where we haven't been able to connect on some level. We don't always agree, and I don't always have the same approach that they may want me to have, but we never part enemies. And so let's give me a chance to get to know who you are, what's important to you, and we'll be better as a result jointly.
Well, we appreciate the post-workout interview. Or is it the pre-workout?
It's the pre-workout. I was on the way to the gym, and I saw Kevin Miller and KIDO, and I said, hey, we got to stop in and say hi.
Definitely. They've, Jeff the Suit will get me for getting sidebar. So, Russ Fulcher, thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
My pleasure. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. More from Ultra Touch next, KIDO Talk Radio.
Kev?
And here we are at Ultra Touch Car Wash. Kevin Miller here at KIDO Talk Radio. I do want to thank Russ Fulcher for stopping by. I want to thank General Schwartz for stopping by. Coming up, we'll have Terry, formerly of State College, Pennsylvania, and Tea Party Bob. They're going to debate us until Glenn Beck comes on about whether or not the economy's tanking. But before that, I do want to talk to you about Ultra Touch Car Wash. We're here in Meridian. They have another location. It's not just a car wash. It's your home of your non-ethanol fuel. I love them. I've been going to them for 9 years now. In the Treasure Valley on West Overland Road in Boise. Here in Meridian on Fairview, do want to thank everybody that has honked except for the car full of libs that gave me a mean look. But look, anyway, whether you're conservative, whether you're progressive, you need some good fuel like you need for your body. You need some good fuel for your car. That's why I love the non-ethanol fuel here at UltraTouch, 87, 89, 91 octane. We would love for you to come by, whether it's your big engine, whether it's your small engine. Of course, the non-ethanol fuel, much, much better for engines, number one. Number two, they have the ultimate car wash when you're talking about a full-service car wash. These kids come out, they hand-dry your cars. It is, well, it's a thing of beauty your car will be. Whether it's in the summer or the winter, these guys do it all here at UltraTouch in Meridian, right on Fairview, across from Kids Again, which is where we are right now, or in that place called Boise, and that is on West Overland Road, right by the Walmart. So we're joined by Terry from State College, Pennsylvania. In addition to that, you can hear the cars go by, and Tea Party Bob. Terry, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Pretty good. And Tea Party Bob, you?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, but it's a little chilly out here.
Yes, your mic was a little loud, but
turn it down.
Yeah, exactly. So, Terry, you believe that we're finally going to have the economic collapse?
I believe there's a coupling of multiple events that are going to help it all occur, yes.
Well, get specific, because you've been texting me 27 years on this, and I mean, I don't know. It's like a cross between you and Donald Trump. I'll get a text from you at like 12:30 in the morning, or a tweet from Trump at 1 a.m.
Well, we got to keep you active, keep you moving. Kevin, if you look back a month and a half ago, the Feds told us, okay, we're expecting 5.4 GDP. And then they come out just a little bit later, so actually we've got to downgrade that to 2.6. Whoops, now it's 1.9. Last week, 1.8. That's what they're projecting. So who do you listen to? And then you have other people saying, well, we're reading from the minutes of the Feds, and they're saying, oh, everything's good, everything's fine. It's like, where'd they get those notes at? I want to read that myself. I want some hope and some promise.
Well, I don't know. Dave Petzo says everything's going well.
Well, you use the word raging, and I think we have different definitions of what raging is. He said that about 4 weeks ago it was. Raging to me means we're about 4. You tell me.
Well, let's go to our friend, the master of the markets, Tea Party Bob here. Is it over? According to Terry, it is.
No, as much as I love Terry, I think his theories are a little bit out there. In fact, maybe he might be up there with the Hubble telescope.
Yada, yada, yada.
But in general, I think the economy is going to do a lot better if Trump stays to what he says he's going to do. We're going to have a good 5 to 8 years before we start to see some real problems. But unnecessarily, everybody worries about GDP. GDP isn't the only thing that we need to look at. We're growing jobs. When you take a look even at Idaho, where your median income is finally going to grow after almost 15 years, we're seeing some real improvement. I'm kind of pleased to see what's going on. Even the wall, when you see the last budget, it's a terrible budget, but I'll tell you, he's going to find a way to take that military money. He's going to build that wall with that military money.
I heard Sean Hannity talking about that yesterday. Terry, you're anxious at the bit to...
Yes, I am, because we went from 5.8 million jobs up to 6.3 million jobs. But yet, if you look at those are the real backbone of the job market, between 25 and 40, there's 7.3 million. And above that, we equaled our 96 million people not in the workforce. That's a raging economy. I'm sorry, go on.
Well, Terry, you're going to have to go back to work then if that's the problem. We can see that you're causing this rift.
I put my gold and silver away.
No, look, you got to understand the participation rate has been going up, and that's an important thing. And as long as you're seeing the participation rate going back up, you're going to see the changes. You're going to see the increases in the economy. Things are getting better. There's no question.
We're definitely reading different news sources.
All right, let's get you to traffic and weather together. And here we are at UltraTouch at KIDO Talk Radio. So have we come to an agreement on the economy between Terry and Tea Party Bob at all?
I don't think we're ever going to agree.
No.
Terry is one of those guys that likes
Here
to
we
be
go,
a stick in
pointing
the
the
mud.
finger, laying the blame. You know what? China just sold 10 billion notional contracts on the petro yuan in the first hour. Watch the dollar. And with that,
Dollar's going up, Terry. You're not watching the charts.
I do watch the charts. I watch the gold go down as I watch the dollar go up. I watch it every day, 4 or 5 times a day. Watch what happens. the big traders are jumping into the yuan real quick. Within a year, you're going to say, boy, did that hurt.
Juan, wasn't he the guy that came in through the gates down in Mexico?
Yeah, it was Xianling Dingwing, whatever his name is in China.
All right, gentlemen, we appreciate that. Always emotional, passionate debate that we have here. I want to thank George and Ray Amaya and everyone that made this, and our friend Betsy that made this happen, Rance, Senator Nonini that came by, Russ Fulcher that came by, and you for listening. It's a privilege to be a part of your morning. It's certainly something that we take very seriously and want to earn that place each and every day. And for all the honkers, thank you very much. Love being here at Fairview and Meridian. We would love to come to your community. If you would like to host us, if you have a business or what have you, email me, Kevin at KIDOTalkRadio.com. Next week, we're at the schools. Glenn Beck is next. Good day. God bless, and keep the faith.